Okay, desert sheet number 3. This is nature sheet number 33, code number 54, B as in boy. This is my latest entry into my desert, whatever biome environment here. And these are the types of images that after using the first two sheet sets, desert sheet sets, these are the types of images that I wanted in conjunction with what I've been experimenting with so far. So, when you get to using, a certain type of system, certain images come to mind for me. I've been doing this long enough, so it's like, okay, I can see some holes within the biome here that could really add to the existing imagery. Okay, so something like this. I think this looks great as is. I mean, this was mostly focusing on sky, but if I wanted to put like some kind of background in here with, some sort of iconic, craggy desert styles of summits in here, I'd have to add them. So we've added it here in these four desert buttes here, these sandstone types of backgrounds here. We have the monuments right here, two different sizes, desert butte right here, and a desert range. All of these can be used in conjunction with one another, but you can also just use these separately. This one right here is a little bit more open on the bottom, as you can see, and this one here is more closed like that. So it's a little bit different of a visual weight. Now you can utilize this one similarly to this one right here by inking this up and just dabbing some ink off at the bottom, so you've now made it open. Okay, so where you would have this kind of open like this if you have other images in the foreground in front of it. You don't have this harsh line cutting it in half. Okay, now like I said, if it's already there, because we're doing rubber stamping, you can do selective styles of impressions where you dab off some of the ink off the bottom of this, so it transitions from, if you're stamping in black, maybe it goes like black to gray, middle gray, and to very light down here to practically nothing. So you can do that, with any type of printing device. But I chose to have this in here so that you can kind of create different types of backgrounds, okay? But anyways, so you can build up all these types of things. You can layer and stack them. You can do them side by side if you want to. Okay, so one of the things I should mention on this is I was going to do these a little bit larger for more scale, okay? You can create this, I don't know, stronger sense of grandeur or something like this. But these days I think it's important to kind of, I don't know, really pack some things in here just to give, the stamper or the customer more bang for their, buck. So we've added more. So we've added quantity over scale in some of these. I don't know, maybe somewhere down the line, if I want to do some of this in like a art foamy or something like that, I'll talk to KP about it. But I don't know. Let me see. I think I have some larger pieces right here where I've printed some of these out right here. Let's see, I don't know if I have one of my mountains here or not. Yeah, okay, so we can see something like this right here. Slightly larger than this version right in here, but it's one of those things, I'm a designer and user. Dropped one of my pieces of paper. I'm a designer and user of the stamps, of course, but I'm also a manufacturer, so you have to kind of take into consideration how these designs are going to fit onto this kind of standard size plate that I use. So, if it's something where I can take something from, a 100% version of it and reduce it down by about 20% or 15, but I can add in an additional 3 stamps onto the plate or something like that. These days I'm probably going to go for that. If you know Stampscapes, you know that, I don't know, we've worked with scale a lot of times. I don't know, the most extreme version is like the Seaside Cove large you know, a really, really big design. But these days I really want to, you know, or at least this time around, I want to pack as many stamps into this plate as possible. 14 stamps on here. We're talking about, you know, like $1, you know, per image or something like that when it breaks down at standard retail. Okay. That's the unmounted versions. Okay, so let's go along. So we have our backdrops in here, craggy backdrops. Okay, so you can build up your backgrounds with these desert rugged sandstone buttes. Okay. Now, on the other side of, you know, a scene like something like this that I was thinking about that would be nice is we can go into the foreground areas right in here. Okay, now we can call these, you know, desert flora types of images could be foreground. Okay, but I wanted some other options rather than just having the flora down, you know, constructing our entire foreground areas, you know, especially when we're, you know, we have slightly larger pieces too. Just having a little bit more variation would be kind of cool from a textural standpoint. Okay, so right here I have my natural bridge right here. Now this could represent something that's, you know, I don't know, a good 20, 30, 40 yards away or something like that. Like if I put a tiny little figure right there, it would give this natural bridge, you know, a certain type of scale. But if I put like some figure that's like this tall, this would be a very small little foreground, you know, natural bridge looking out there. Now this is a desert type of image right here. You know, natural arches, that type of thing. But it could easily be, I could see an ocean being in here, and I think that would be really cool because you see this type of, you know, coastal erosion in certain types of areas where the, you know, the rock, you know, the shoreline is constructed of a certain type of, you know, geography. So you can put, I can easily see this, you know, with like the seaside cove out here, you know, and a setting sun and someone standing right here. I mean, that's where I would go and, you know, stand, provided this wasn't just totally crumbling. But it usually wouldn't be if it's like that. Okay, so kind of more of a craggy foreground. And again, I made this one slightly smaller. I've reduced it down by about 80% because I needed to be able to fit this ball cacti, you know, kind of image right in here, very iconic type of desert flora. And then I wanted to go with these agaves, and I had a little bit of extra space in this area up here, so I have the agave right here, but then we did the smaller version of it for the agave small, so you can do it in the background. This one right here, I wanted to do it in 2 different sizes as well, but and this is kind of a reduced size from the original by a decent portion. But I thought, you know, the desert imagery, the desert flora that I have in here already, those balls are really going to stand out quite a bit. So I thought, we wouldn't just want like this ball cacti, you know, garden or something like that. So I see this more of like, you know, use it here and there. When I'm usually out in the desert, you know, I might see several of these in one area, but it's just not like a pumpkin patch full of them or something like that. There, you know, that might exist somewhere, but I usually don't see it. So I thought, go with what you know and just come out with one design of it. Now, I've separated enough of these. I have enough space in between these here, though, okay? I don't have them all clustered together. All right, so there's like a grouping of these 3 where there's a little bit of an overlap. So you can take this design right here, and let's say you just want these 2 over on the other side of a scene or something like that. You know, you can stamp it in a grouping, but let's say I just want 1 or 2 right around in here, then you just color. And I've added this one out here on the side where you can just do that one. It'll be really easy just to color that one, should you want it here and there. So this is a grouping of 6 right here, but I see it as, you know, a grouping of 6, a grouping of 1, a 2 grouping right here, or you can go for this one right here too. You know what I mean? So it's easy to separate this out and just to, you know, have as many or as few in there as you want. Okay. Okay, so going into further into the foreground right here, we're talking about the sand dunes like this. I've been using my sand pattern, and this works really good with your desert types of systems right in there. I've been using a lot more of the tiny rocks though, but you can use something like this in here. You can even stamp it lighter, okay? These are all in black, but if I stamp this in like a tan or something on top of the wood grain paper, that would easily just blend in. You don't have to do any masking, but you can just stamp it right over the top. If you're stamping it in black, then you might have to do a little bit of masking, like in these open rock areas or something like that. But that works really good. But there's a certain type of kind of directional flow of this. It's a little bit flatter, okay? So I wanted something that's kind of a little bit more of a stronger visual lead-in. So I have these two dunes here. Now these dunes are really made to stack, all right? I would probably do them in a little bit of a darker tone, and then as I go into the background, it's not supposed to get built up like 8 inches or something like this, but you're taking this one. Now I just have it up here because that's how it fit into this arrangement on the plate. But this right here is supposed to go like out here and then over here. So you have these rolling kind of dunes like that. And you put a little bit of space in between them, like it's a little bit faded out. I mean, you could just stamp it right on top of it, but I see it more as like a kind of a light, to darker, to light, to dark, where you stack these dunes up there. So when I ink this one up, I foresee myself wiping off the bottom a little bit so that it merges into this one without having this bottom texturing in here. Okay, so you can stack it up. So you'd have these little bit of dunes, or you can put like, images in between these like rolling dunes like that. And that's something that I see like out in Death Valley in what they call it, mesquite sand dunes out there. And that should be fun. But then you have these, different types of flora, from the other sets, or you have these ranges rising in the background from these dune systems. You can even have this right in the foreground and have the dune, kind of see in between, and then you can have these, craggy buttes in the background. I think that would be really cool. And then you can put your little subject matter looking out there. Okay, so a couple little things right here. Like when I'm doing this scene like this, we have these little bats right here. I've always wanted some bats. Okay, same thing with the ball cacti. If this is like too many of them, what you do is you just ink up like, however many you want out of here. You can do it sparser. If you're using like an ink pen, you can just ink up a couple like that, and over here, stamp it out for a little bit of a, I don't know what you, it's not a flock of, I forget what you call it, a grouping of bats, but you can have just a few of them, or you can have like 2 of them if you want to, going across the, the night sky like that. I usually see little bats kind of flying around my campsite, like right around like sunset time or something like that when I was out in Joshua Tree. And I would see like the lone bat sometimes inside of like an abandoned mine shaft. Okay, speaking of mine shaft, one of the things that I was doing when I was experimenting with the glass shards, I have the golds right here and also silver. I thought I really need a little miner. It doesn't have to go with the desert systems. A lot of miners are out in the desert, but the miner can go along like any stream or anything like that. You can have them out there, but I wanted to have like a river or something like that, or it could be in like a dry wash, and just getting his pan out, and pouring some water in there and doing a little panning like that. But this could easily be like along like a stream or something like that, with pine trees or something of that sort. Animals. Okay, so I had a couple little spaces for animals. Little kangaroo rat right here. You might think rat, it's not like a some kind of like a rat like out in the garbage cans in an urban type of setting where we're thinking, oh my, gross, or like in a sewer, system or something like that. These little kangaroo rats are really cute, actually. They're like they seem like a kangaroo mouse to me. But I see them coming out at night sometimes around, the campfire. It's like, oh, look at that little thing, just scampered across right there. But I don't know, just another little critter, to throw into. I have it angled up like that, but it's more like this, okay? But this is the way it fit into the plate. But, you can put a little thing like that down here, hiding in the little brush or something like that, getting some whatever grain or something like that. Howling coyote, not much to say about that. You know, I thought, okay, we're doing a desert type of system. I have another howling coyote in another nature set, but I had this little bit of a gap up here. So we're talking about, rubber stamp production here, so we might as well kind of pack it in there with something more. So a little one like this, it could be, right here or something like that, or I'd create a little rock or something like that, and if you get howling at the moon, right? So anyways, those are the new designs on this upcoming plate. I think I got the textures down pretty well with these ones. I really am someone that really loves a lot of types of textures, and I do love the deserts, and I don't know, the different types of kind of emotions that they can. Yeah, it's a very evocative type of system, and just very different. But okay, so these types of things too. I mean, these types of rocks like this. I mean, this could be, the range, in the back of a pine system as well. I see that out there all the time. It could be this one in particular is like the superstitions out in Arizona, but you can make this into whatever you want. It could be a part of the Cascades, or you know what I mean, or whatever. So they're generic enough for that. I don't know about this sandstone monument. It's pretty particular to the Southwest, as far as I know. But I don't know, things like that. Oh, okay. So when I was thinking about these types of things too, these types of things like this, I mean, sometimes when you're doing like I don't know, I haven't seen too many people doing like you know, um, different planets or something like that, and this, ice planets or something like that. You can use these mountains in there to depict that type of thing, and I think that would be pretty cool, interesting. Let's do like Mars or something like that, or the ice planet, or whatever, Io. I don't know. I think that would be pretty interesting. But anyways, I hope you like the new designs. This sheet set is for sale on pre-sale, pre-sale special going on right now. And from the time of this video right here, we should have, I'm guessing, the plate in by the end of the week. It was shipped out by my engraver. When I get those in, I'm going to do a test impression printing video, and we'll test out. I want to check out all of the details in all of my areas and make sure that they got that engraving down, which I don't know, they almost always do. But I want to see what type of detail retention has been achieved um, through the etching, the mold making process, the rubber pressing, and then the impressions. So we're talking about several generations away from the original pieces. So yeah, and there's an awful lot of detail in all of these. This ball cacti right here, where it was pretty crazy to do that and to try to get that one right. But anyways, can't wait to do this one. Can't wait to experiment around with these. I'm envisioning how these types of images will work, as I'm working on them and devising them and kind of playing around with the different densities in certain areas and textures and what can be placed in there and how things can be stacked and merged with other sibling imagery and repeated with themselves too. So we always want that to work out. I've been doing this a long time, and I think I know, I'm, pretty much, how things are going to work out, but you never really are exactly sure until you see them in use. And then things usually go beyond that initial kind of concept of how they can be used, especially with other users of the stamps. It's like, oh my God, I never thought about using it that way. And that's always one of those kind of special moments for me. Okay, when the plate comes, it's not going to be configured exactly like this because I don't have the, like the words on the stamps themselves or anything like that. Some of these are kind of flipped over so that, it's easier to trim out. So you might have some of these in a little bit of a different arrangement. This one's a little bit higher. So I leave space in there because one of the versions of our sets are the cling foam ones, and they have to be able to get around all of these different images with that scroll saw. So you try to create as much space in between the images as possible. So I forgot. I think one of these, I can't remember. I know this one has been flipped upside down, so it's, there's more space in between than I think this is moved over a little bit. So anyway, hope you enjoy them. Or I hope you like the looks of them, and if you end up getting this set, I hope you enjoy using them. But we'll get to some preliminary types of tests with the imagery before any of these types of things are going to be sent out. But I expect, with my rubber guy and my engraver, I don't know, they're the best. So confidence is high. Okay, thanks for watching, and thanks as always for tuning into the Stampscapes channel.